while looking through my expertly written code in order to find some interesting replays, I noticed there was a duo that I would not have expected to see, and so that is what we are going to check out today. We are watching some Nupo games again, but this time it's not going to be against Zen and with Zen, which was yesterday's video if you want to go back and check it out. But it's going to be with First Killer. First Killer, the North American, playing alongside Nupo, the Saudi Arabian, over here on EU servers. So what that means, of course, is that First Killer is going to be playing on fairly high ping as these two try and connect for a passing play. I noticed they actually teamed up. You can see First Killer 120 ping as they get scored on. I'm sorry for not showing you that, but I feel like we have to show the ping. First Killer playing on EU servers, Nupo on 72. And they're partied up. You can see they have set up these matches together. As opposed to just randomly First Killer queuing EU. And that doesn't surprise me too much, considering if you're First Killer, you probably don't want to play on 120 ping. But if you're playing on 120 ping and getting to play alongside Nupo, then it's probably going to be worth it. So we have 3 different games of these guys playing against each other. And in fact, it's Ahmad and Velocity who were queuing together, I think, in all 3 of the games on the other side of the field. So shout out Velocity, who is the one who uploaded these replays, because without Velocity, we would not be looking at anything right now. So W Velocity's in the chat. Wait, am I doing too much Twitch streaming? YouTube comments, type W Velocity. I don't know. Either way, First Killer is going to take a nice air dribble and drop it off for Nupo as they go up 2-1 with a minute left to go. By the way, I love the look of this map. I just wish every game could get played on. It's a little bit too quiet for my taste, maybe for show matches, but amazing. 2-2 as Ahmad and Velocity going to tie it up. First Killer going to take the kickoff on the right side and quickly turn right back on the ball. Challenged by Ahmad. Nupo backing off, allowing Velocity to give him the ball. And I imagine even with only 53 boosts, he's going to try and make something crazy happen in the air. Air dribble stops short. And First Killer diving in, doing a good job to position appropriately. Even though it seemed like he was going to be overshooting the play, sticking around as he's going to air dribble and leave off for Nupo. In order to get another shot attempt. Nothing from Nupo, but quick dashes back are going to recover. I think one of the things that leads to Nupo having such fast games is that he does like to go in maybe a little bit more than another player and then maximum speed recover all the way back to the other side of the field, which really does a lot for your average speed, as Nupo is going to get a passing play with a First Killer to make it 3-2. I can look at a little bit more detail, by the way, the replays, so I thought about looking for maybe Nupo's fastest games or other interesting stats. If you guys have something you maybe want to see, let me know in the comments right now. Is Nupo going to actually hit this? He is. He takes this to ceiling height, gets the double, and hits it off the backboard. But yeah, if you guys have ideas on maybe the fastest First Killer game, the slowest Daniel game, the most demos from a comm game or something like that, let me know what it is you'd want to see. Maybe I can go searching through and find them. Now, these games are from recent days. They're actually from a couple weeks ago. I do my best to try and filter it for games that are actually happening that are relevant here in this day and age, and certainly these are, as these happened in January. As Velocity going to get a reset. Nupo has made the save. He gets bumped, and he actually doesn't get to go in and out, but then he still makes the save. Okay, it goes on eventually. For a second there, I thought it was going to be a ridiculous miracle defensive sequence from Nupo, and it still kind of was. But ultimately, they do get scored on. As Nupo, the only one back, First Killer respawns. As Nupo probably tapped this one too strong, I would say, out to the other half, and yet he proves me wrong instantly. Almost created a goal within moments after me saying that. He just stayed on boost. He stayed chasing down the ball and ended up getting a really favorable 50 that I think a lot of other players would not go for. A nice pass from First Killer to the midfield. And Nupo is going to be quick enough to react to get it. 5-3 with 2 minutes left to go. And an instant kickoff goal is going to go the way of Ahmad and Velocity. I wonder if First Killer was trying to intentionally lose that back left. Nupo seemed pretty confident that's where the ball was going to head, but instead the close cheat ends up paying off better. Velocity snagging the demo onto Nupo as he does not have an angle on the ball after First Killer slightly losing the kickoff. Leads to him being a bit exposed for the physical play. He's going to fully rotate back now as Ahmad and Velocity applying for a long distance shot. They actually almost made a mistake here. Maybe they're trying to bait some defense in because certainly there was nothing to sweat from that position. First Killer has had a couple nasty almost, this time almost a sidewall read that would have actually been able to get out ahead of the defense had he put it on target. Instead, slightly off, so it hits back wall. A minute left to go. Ooh, First Killer dove in too deep. I mean, not something we necessarily expect to see. We know Nupo can do that on occasion, but this time, First Killer not recognizing that he was going to get beat by that quick play. That makes it a tie game with a minute left to go. Nupo full field in front of him. First Killer with the trust. You see him turning up field immediately after he sees that ball headed back into his corner. No rotation needed. Knows Nupo is going to make at least something happen. That something did not lead to a shot attempt. Velocity missing wide. Nupo not backing down despite the fact that First Killer is in the corner with the ball. Knows it's going to be awkward for him. He's got speed. Looks to take it away. He's going to get forced to rotate by a demo. Knows a bump attempt is going to come, but cannot make the save. You can see him trying to rotate around to a position that dodges the demo, but keeps himself relevant for the 2v1. Fortunately, it did not work out that way. Now he's going to cheat up close on the kickoff and get the possession because of it. Sidewall dribble, 2 defenders in net. Fake one, fake another. Pin it in the top shelf, and man, it looked like it went in extra strong. I don't know if Velocity got a touch before it went through, but powerful pinch to tie the game with 17 seconds left to go. Nupo 50 off the kickoff, then going to leave it with First Killer, who's got, I think, a multiple reset shots, but denied on the goal line. Nupo single touching while making sure to quickly dash into the corner and pick up the 100. Now dashing again here before picking up the midfield 100. Once the demo doesn't get it, and ball will hit ground, so OT. 6-6, a really high-scoring game between this duo. First Killer fake, leaves it off for Nupo. He looked like he wanted to get a demo as well, maybe a Spanish, but Nupo will low 50, and it's going to work out just as well as a Spanish would, even though there was no contact on a demo, as Nupo and First Killer win their first of the 3 replays we're checking out today. For game number 2, let's go to First Killer POV. It is the same day, I think, the same queuing session. Velocity and Ahmad playing against Nupo and First Killer. And Nupo is going to get a nice air dribble across 3/4 of the field before First Killer redirects it at the final moments to put in the first goal. First Killer and Ahmad getting a follow-up 50. First Killer says, excuse me, Nupo. I'm the one who has boost here. Let me take over. This air dribble met by Ahmad. You see First Killer chasing down directly behind the play, making sure that I think it's a little bit easier to read. Oh, Nupo went for the impossible redirect. He didn't get it. I think that was no touch. Let's look at the scoreboard. Yeah, he did not get it. But the point was, Velocity and Ahmad thought he might. And so they have to sit there and react and wait. You know, maybe he's going to end up getting a touch. Maybe he won't. Maybe he completely whiffs it and sends it to the ceiling. Or sorry, not completely whiffs it, because completely whiffs it is what happened, which is actually a pretty threatening shot. But maybe he messes up terribly and, you know, taps it into the ceiling. Either way, you kind of don't want to react too soon, and then by the time you register that he's completely missed it, it seems like it's a bit too late to make the save. First Killer double jumping over the top of Velocity there early in the aerial to make sure he does not be any interference. Now doinking this one high, trying to drop it off to into the corner where his full boost teammate is, and Nupo is the kind of guy who can make something happen on full boost. My goodness. Okay, we go back and watch it again. We're going to keep watching First Killer POV, but I think we got to watch this one from Nupo POV at least once, as First Killer drops it to him on a platter, and he takes it up to ceiling height around Ahmad, and then delays the flip perfectly, waits until the moment when it really matters to get the outplay, and slots it in for a third. Seems like they have elected First Killer to go for kickoffs. I don't know if he's calling for them in quick chat or if Nupo is asking him to take them over. But either way, seems like that's been their trend of these two guys playing together. Nupo going to go up to ceiling height. Pass down to First Killer, who intentionally plays it slow. He knew that they were going to be expecting a quick shot, and they cut off that angle. So instead, First Killer just kills the momentum of the ball, and then has no trouble slowly rolling around it to tap in a shot with absolutely no defender in the stratosphere. First killer not able to pre-jump this super high lob, but maybe did his job anyways, forcing them to hand the ball up to Nupo on the back wall. Maybe a mistouch from Ahmad. Double from first killer is just barely off target. Fortunate. Nice power slide landing there to keep his momentum and prepare for the attack that was going to be ensuing off of the Nupo setup. Demo happens. Nupo might have missed the ball. First killer covers all the angles for the hook, and then maybe tried a quick zap dash there. It seemed like his wheels never really got completely off the ground. Did Nupo just score? Probably not. Despite the really quick first touch off the side wall, it is going to be slowed down enough for Velocity to make a play. Nupo trying to go full field psycho. He's going to get a little bit of help from Ahmad, but it is just a back pass to Velocity, who gets immediately challenged by first killer off the ceiling. He's not letting him get even an inch off the back wall. But Nupo misses on his over-aggression. I shouldn't really say over-aggression, but on his classic aggression. Now gets demoed and nobody back. Ahmad, the double demo. Shout out Ahmad, who had had enough and decides to just delete both defenders. Velocity does not miss his opportunity to shoot on a completely wide open net, but Nupo and first killer will run the Spanish kickoff again, and it's going to work out great. We have, oh, and that'll be a forfeit actually with 2 minutes left to go. We've noticed that Nupo does that often. I'm not sure if the NA kickoffs do that a bunch, but when we've seen matchups between the Saudi and the French players, I know the French players don't seem to want to run Two's kickoff strategies very often, but clearly Nupo does when he's played with like TRK and Rawas in the past, and first killer seems willing to as well, but we have another game, a third game with Nupo and first killer coming up next. Back to Nupo POV as he will rotate back here off the start of this replay before passing out to first killer. And now fake challenging. Seems like a long session between Velocity and Ahmad. Many different matches. In fact, I think they played matches that we aren't necessarily going to cover today. I just picked 3 replays to watch. More of them were played. As Nupo chaining some dashes together as he falls off the wall, sticking around to see how he can help first killer, and he's going to go top left. He saw the 2 defenders, one high right and one bottom left low, and thought, how do I get it past both of them? Why not just go for that top left? And he has that kind of precision. First killer and Nupo doubling up here as they race to the back corner boost. Nupo's going to be the one to get it, so now first killer defending on very little. But Ahmad and Velocity do not take advantage of that. Shot fairly weak. Allows first killer to clear, and now Nupo gonna full reset back to his half. Oh my goodness. Chaining so many dashes together to try and recover to his back wall. At least saves a lot of boost in the process. Ended up not really making a play, but the point is sometimes you have to move around the field to be in the right spot for you know, something that might happen. And if you're able to do that with using boost as little as possible, as clearly Nupo is able to now, especially around those corners, just ends up playing in your favor in the long run. Now Nupo staring at a wide open net, and he actually just missed it big time, and he missed it again. The first killer is going to score it. All right, it's okay. I don't know what happened there that led to Nupo just staring at literally the widest of open nets, but he ended up booming his first touch high off the backboard instead of just directly into the goal. Fortunately for them, the follow-ups all worked out. There are those dashes again as he sets up in the corner, single jumping and then rolling. So his diagonal flip instantly lands him onto that side wall. And make it back just in time to control this into the corner. And Nupo, it's crazy how he seems to have all these touches read inside the corner. A normal human would maybe have to sit around and wait. First killer's not going to win this low 50. But even without pressure around him, he's just going at maximum speed at all times. He's trying to control the ball with heavy touches into the corner, just doubling them, even with no defenders around. It seems like a mistake, but so many times he has shown that he can just surprise defenders who feel like they're even playing safe. You know, like they're backing off. Like, hey, I know Nupo goes crazy quick. I'll just leave the play. And yet still, Nupo finds a way to get even faster than they would have expected. Now Nupo passing to First Killer. First Killer has just Ahmad to beat. Decided not to go back to Nupo, who will now go wall to air dribble. Pass to himself off the ceiling. Gets the reset, and it's in. I have seen a lot of players trying to do that in 1v1. In 1v1 show matches, that move has not had as much success as I think people were hoping for, but here at 2 is going to work out great. Nupo and First Killer are going to get immediately scored on, though, on this kickoff. So it's 3-3 with just a little bit less than half the game to go. First Killer quicker to the ball, but it gets him demoed as Ahmad trying to make something happen off of his nice deletion, but never really got control of the ball before it got taken away. Velocity is upfield, running really aggressively. Didn't connect on any demos, so now it's going to be Nupo going momentarily against just Velocity, but good early challenge as these guys get into midfield play. No boost spawn for Nupo. Forced to rotate back on 0. Saves one up high. Ahmad, the follow-up, easily cleaned up. He got to the ball so late. Nice speed from First Killer. And that is going to get him a goal. You did not expect that from Velocity POV. Even watching it live, I thought, yeah, you know, the orange team is doing a good job rotating back on each one of these touches towards the net. But they were wrong. First Killer just a little bit faster to get a completely clean touch. Not even, you know, a 50 touch, but just all the way around. And now a lead for the unlikely duo with 1:15 left to go. Nupo trying to pass alongside the net. Actually, might have been better off just letting it go across, but the orange team taps it out to where First Killer is. First Killer is going to pass up to Nupo. Actually could have... Oh my goodness. It seemed like Nupo wasn't necessarily prepping for that pass in the first place, but ultimately he was. He knew First Killer was looking for him, and he absolutely clutches up the double, and then they get kickoff scored again. This duo just needs to clean up their kickoffs. They've had some seriously quick kickoff goals. I think maybe 3 of them in this game have been kickoffs for Ahmad and Velocity. If it weren't for that, you know, this would be domination for them. As Nupo with 30 boosts left over is not going to be able to make any sort of play off the back wall. First Killer now trying to make something happen. Does drop it straight down, but no boost around the field for Nupo. He decided it wasn't worth sticking around just in case First Killer got that win instead. A little bit safer. Back off, grab some 100. Ahmad bumps, lobs it up high. Nupo not worried about it. Actually just passed it back out to Ahmad. Fortunately for him, First Killer is kind of running interference, making shots hard, and Ahmad ends up putting a bit of a pool noodle shot on target. Nupo, more often than any other player I've seen, ends up directly next to his teammate. I don't know. It only happens when you're watching Nupo replays, but it doesn't seem to punish them too hard very often. It just happened there for a moment. All of a sudden, First Killer, like basically how Ahmad and First Killer are right now, right next to each other. You almost never see 2 teammates doing that in 2s. When you're watching these high-level plays, and yet Nupo all the time just finds himself right next to his teammate. Somehow it works out. I think it's just because he wants to get to that ball ASAP, and sometimes decides that it doesn't matter if there's a defender or a teammate around, a teammate defender around. He should still go for it. And hey, it worked out in these replays. They did win all 3 of these ones that we checked out, but I felt like we had to cover this. Nupo and First Killer, maybe a future duo in the RLCS. I mean, probably not, but it's cool that they at least played some ranked games together, and shout out Velocity for giving us a chance to watch them.